Hello and welcome back to Nothing Fancy. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different and tell you guys what I think are the top 3 essential performance modifications for any Mustang. Let me show you what I got. So this is my 2014 Mustang. I have had this car since early 2015, and up until about a year ago, this car has been completely stock. I actually got this car as a gift from my parents after when I was a senior in high school. I joined the Army National Guard, and after I graduated, I was immediately sent off to basic training and AIT. And when I got back that following winter, my parents got me this car as a graduation gift, so super thankful for that. This is the 3.7 V6, and I know a lot of people are going to knock it because it's a V6, and that's fine. I think that this car factory, if I'm not mistaken, has a little over 300 horsepower stock in the Cyclone V6, and overall, this has been a really fun car to drive. But let's get into the modifications. I'll go ahead and share with you what those 3 mods are right off the bat. The first mod I did was a cold air intake. The second mod I did was a performance tune. And the last I did was an exhaust setup. So let's go into these 3. I'm going to break them down for you, tell you what I think about the improvements that they gave, and we'll go from there. Coming up first is the cold air intake, and this is probably the most cliche bolt-on mod that most people do. I originally wanted to go with the Roush cold air intake, but it was so expensive, so I ended up going with a closed box cold air intake made by K&N. This cost me about $350 on Amazon. I will be completely honest with you. I was a little bit underwhelmed with a cold air intake system altogether. It did end up growing on me a little bit. This K&N claims to add 10 to 15 horsepower to the engine, and it came with paperwork showing where they dyno tested these on vehicles similar to this one. I can't really tell you if it added that much or not. The only improvement that I really saw with this cold air intake was a slight improvement in the throttle response. Now I will say, cosmetically, it does look really good under the engine, and it was a pretty easy install. I think I was able to install, take the old factory airbox out and install this one in about 30 minutes. I will say I went with a closed airbox versus an open airbox because from my research and what I've read, a closed airbox actually will get better performance than an open airbox because it's not going to be sucking in all of the heat that's trapped in the engine bay. So they do say these come with a little bit more performance. The only downside that I've noticed is you don't get that kind of low-end rumble that you sometimes can hear with open box air intake systems. The only time that I really hear a difference with the K&N is in that 2,000 to 2,500 RPM range. But overall, for the little amount of money that I spent, I can't really complain with this. But let's move into the next modification. I will say that it really paired nice with the cold air intake. The tune, I went with a tune from MPT, which I think stands for More Power Tuning. They kind of specialize in the 3.7s or the V6 Ford engines. I did a lot of research into Bama tunes and other tunes made for this Mustang, and the general consensus was that MPT was the best tune to go with for the Cyclone V6. And I will say, out of all of the mods, this has been my favorite one. It's a little bit more pricey. I had to buy the tuner itself. I got an SCT flash tuner along with the tune, bought it directly through MPT. Cost me in the ballpark of $600. So it is a little bit higher of a cost, but this is very much well worth the money. This turned this car into a completely different car. MPT markets it as gaining at least 30 horsepower. I've seen people say they got anywhere between 30 to 50 horsepower more out of the Cyclone V6 engine, and I can say that that's probably accurate. When I uploaded the tune into this car, I did it when I came home from work, uploaded it, and I actually didn't drive it until the next morning when I was getting ready to go to work, and it was like getting into a whole different car. Immediate throttle response. There was no lack in the pedal. The car was taking off fast. It'll actually spin tires very easily now. It feels like you're driving a V8. The install was fairly simple, a little bit technical with having to get the files, the tune files downloaded from the computer and put onto the SCT flash unit. But when you order through MPT, they will give you all of the instructions and what software you need to download in order to get the tune onto this. I can't remember exactly. I think maybe it took 5 to 10 minutes once I got it downloaded to this unit here to program it into the car. And you can actually get various tunes through MPT. They got economy tunes. They got a mixture of performance and economy tunes. Where if I'm not mistaken, I think it's tuned where if you're getting into the throttle, it'll kind of kick it up a little bit. But if you're just cruising, it kind of keeps you at economy to keep that gas mileage. I went with the 93 octane performance tune, which is the I guess the most aggressive tune, for a lack of better words, for this car, because I wanted to get the most out of it. So I got the transmission tune, the engine tune, so it shifts more aggressively. And the only downside is you do have to use a 93 octane gas. But I will say that as far as gas mileage goes, this car hasn't suffered at all. I'm still averaging about 25 miles to the gallon, and that's a mixture of both highway and city miles. But all in all, this is an absolute must-have. You are going to absolutely love getting a tune for your Mustang. I had a buddy who had a 5.0 in a 2015 model, I do believe, so the next gen passed this one. And he did a tune. I think he did it through Bama. And he says the same thing, that it's like driving a whole new car. It really just unlocks everything that this car has the potential of achieving. So a little bit more expensive. Now last, I'm going to move you into one of my favorite mods. Not so much a great performance mod, but you got the speed there now, and you want to have that sound to kind of complement that. So let me show you what exhaust setup I have. This is the exhaust setup I have, and it is a Ford Racing Axleback exhaust. I think the actual name for this is like a Ford Touring Axleback exhaust system. This is a pretty mild exhaust. I originally wanted to go with the Roush exhaust system. The only reason I went with this one is because I got it for free. We had a donor car at work, and they told me that I could have the exhaust that was on that car. So I mean, it was free free. I couldn't pass that deal up. I think if you were to buy this exact exhaust setup, and it is the dual exhaust, if you were to buy this through like CJ's Pony Parts or another online retailer, I think they are in the $800 range, whereas I think the Roushes are around $700. But if you're looking for something that's not too aggressive, that has zero drone noise, this is a really good exhaust to go with. I may one day end up doing something different, maybe adding an X-pipe or some headers to get it a little bit more aggressive sounding the way I want it to. But overall, this was a really, really great improvement on this car. I will put in a little sound clip because I couldn't really find any sound clips on the internet for this exact exhaust. They may be out there and I just couldn't find it. But I will let you guys hear what it sounds like on a cold start. Now, it will be through just a basic iPhone microphone, so it may not be the best sound quality, but just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it sounds like. folks, that's pretty much it. That is my list of what I think are the 3 most essential performance mods to add to any Mustang. When I got ready to start modding this Mustang, I did a lot of research and to see what people were adding to their setups. You know, some people added headers, or I know BBK makes a bigger throttle body. And from what I've seen, the most mods that people say they had the best results out of were a tune, and I know a lot of people swap the rear end gears, and I may end up doing that in the future. I'm not really sure. I'm not building a race car out of this. This is literally my daily driver that I take back and forth to work. So if you are building a race car, this probably isn't the video for you. This is a video for somebody that's just got a daily driver and they got a Mustang that they want to slightly modify a little bit just to enjoy driving it around to get a little bit more performance out of their daily driver. These 3 mods that I've done, I don't have a ton of money into those, but I love what they have done to the car. I feel like I'm driving a brand new vehicle. This thing is fast. I haven't dyno tested, but just kind of guessing if the stock factory horsepower is around 302, with these 3 modifications that I've done, I believe I'm probably somewhere in the 350 horsepower range. And I know it's not a GT, and some people are gonna nag on it because it's not a V8 engine, but I will say this car will smoke any car out there as long as they don't know that you're trying to race them. You get the jump on them, and they don't try to race back, you're golden, buddy. But I'm not trying to race people in this car. I'm just trying to have a good time driving it, taking it back and forth to work or to little trips to town or whatever it is. And if you're kind of like me, just wanting to tinker with something and enjoy your Mustang a little bit more, I highly recommend these 3 different mods. I will say again, if you're wanting something that sounds really aggressive, I don't recommend the Ford performance exhaust that I have here. It's a little bit mild, and maybe one day I will change that out and get something a little bit more aggressive sounding, or maybe add some headers. I'm not real sure. If there's a mod that you have for this Mustang that you think that I would enjoy, or one that you recommend, please let me know in the comments. You know, there's definitely more that I think I want to do with this car, but these were the 3 main things that I wanted to have done with it. And again, I am 10 out of 10 satisfied with everything that I've had with this car so far. And with the exhaust being for free, $600 for the tune, and around $350. I'm less than $1,000 into modding this car, and it's just been phenomenal. So again, if you have a suggestion you would like to give, please let me know in the comments. If you like this type of content, I do anything car related. Next week, I'm going to try something a little bit different. Hope that you guys will enjoy that and stay tuned. And I would appreciate it if you give a like and a subscribe. Thanks. Take care.